So my name is Dheeraj. I am CEO and founder of multiple firms. Phantom Holdings is one. Phantom Holdings is a firm that buys accounting firms in the US. So I buy and run accounting firms in the US. Apart from that, I have a consulting firm called Incredence, which is helping US based, US and basically Canada based accounting tax firms in growing their, setting up their practice in India and growing their practice offshore teams or building large scale teams or designing their go to market and marketing strategies. And the third firm that I have, which is called Great Fino, where we do offshoring of accounting and tax work, again for US and the Canadian market. And as part of that, we also do marketing support for them. And that is where we manage a lot of the LinkedIn marketing work for a lot of US and Canadian accounting and tax firms. Apart from, before doing this, I am a engineer and an MBA by qualification, and I have worked with investment banks for a large part of my career. Large investment banks here in India, um, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, and Credit Agricole being one. I am I'm based out of Mumbai, and I am also the strategic advisor to a lot of US based accounting and tax firms on the marketing side and otherwise as well. So I help them set up the practices in an optimal way, help them understand how to set up their marketing and sales processes, how to set up the internal firm in a more efficient way, and how to improve profitability, etc. Have them right onshore, offshore staffing mix and hiring processes, etc. So overall, this is my experience. This is who I am, and I've been helping US and Canada-based accounting and tax firms um, build a strong market presence, be it on LinkedIn or otherwise, for the past, I would say, 4 to 5 years. And so, yeah, this is about me. Now, in terms of LinkedIn for chartered accountants, now, as Pawan has mentioned, a lot of the people are founders of CA firms, and a lot of the people who are not founders of the CA firms, but even practicing chartered accountants or even CA interns or anybody who is working the corporate world. LinkedIn is a great place because a very large number of uh, people in the financial world are there on LinkedIn. And unlike Instagram and other social media platforms, this is one platform where a lot of professional networking can happen. You can also learn a lot of content from LinkedIn and read a lot of content from LinkedIn, which is not available on other platforms because here, people would analyze, for example, when there are new GST laws that come in, there are changes in the income tax laws or any other sort of that information. People come and post about this a lot here. People post their analysis. All of the big four firms, like the large, the big four and even beyond accounting firms, they post a lot of content about the changes that happen in the Indian space, in the changes that are happening in different sectors, vis-a-vis the different niches and the industries that they serve and what's happening in different areas: audit, tax, accounting, etc., or CFO. So that's why LinkedIn is a great place of because one is there's a lot of content. Second is there's just a lot of people which are available here in this domain when it comes to accounting and finance, and you can understand what's happening in the industry. You can build your knowledge, and then your professional, like if you're in a corporate world, a lot of your teammates and organization members or members of other firms are there on LinkedIn, and your leaders are on LinkedIn, your business pages are on LinkedIn. So there's a lot of content which is there, and it's a very good place for finance professionals to be in. So why not use the opportunity while you are on LinkedIn? You've created a LinkedIn profile. Why not use that opportunity to go ahead and take advantage of the platform that LinkedIn is? And that's what we are going to cover on cover in this presentation. So let me go to the next slide, and let's see why uh, I'm just letting people in the meantime. Yeah. So firstly, why LinkedIn? As I was explaining to you, apart from the fact that finance and accounting people and the kind of content that is available on just on this platform, you'll not find on any other platform. LinkedIn is a very big professional networking platform, the largest in the world with more than 1 billion users. So, um you know, the kind of the kind of audience that you can get on LinkedIn, it's something that you'll not get on other platforms. Uh, Again, a lot of senior level people are there. If you're looking to use LinkedIn as a platform to do anything, whether you want to build your own profile and you have, let's say, you have your own business and you want to build your profile and reach out to prospective clients on LinkedIn, so that you can convert them, you can get new business. So it's a great platform, because if you're a chartered accountant, if you've written chartered accountant on your name, people will see your name. And when you reach out to them, let's say you have expertise in audit, or you have expertise in GST audits, or uh, auditing of financial statements or whatever for a specific industry, let's say construction, for example. Then people, and if you are going to reach out to people in the construction space, or if you're going to write about that space, people will consider you as an expert, because accounting is a trust-based thing. They see you as a chartered accountant. So having a conversation is easy. If you are a founder, if your profile is set up on LinkedIn in a good way, you have the audience which you need to build thought leadership, whatever your area, be audit, tax, or accounting, and convert new business and use that as a source to consistently generate new business opportunities if you are a founder. So that's why LinkedIn is very good. And because, as I was saying, it's trust based, you have CA written in your name, it adds a lot of value. Then, in terms of as I was explaining to you, if you're a founder, it works really well. But if you're a professional, now a lot of professionals in the accounting and finance space, if you look at them, they are posting content. It's the content age. Both young people or even seasoned people are creating content and posting content online. So even if you're not a founder and you consume content and you have a wish that you can write content, you can write content on LinkedIn, even if you're not a founder. So let's say you are an employee in a CA firm and you have a good knowledge on a specific topic, you can pick it up and you can start to create content on LinkedIn. Now, what's the benefit of doing that for somebody who's not a founder is career opportunities. So when you create content, you get you can people can see people can engage with you, people can talk to you on the platform, and uh, people can talk to you on the platform, and then you can engage with them. If it's let's say senior partner of a firm or a partner of a firm, you can they'll see your content, they'll engage with it, maybe you get a new career opportunity. Or if you just want to build your brand, you want to create content, you want to talk about certain things, you're passionate about certain things or topics or areas, you can use LinkedIn as an opportunity to create content. Why it's better than a platform like, let's say, Instagram, etc., because the kind of audience which is available on LinkedIn is not there on Instagram. Like senior decision makers or people who are partners in Deloitte and KPMGs, they are not consuming a lot of content on LinkedIn. They are on Instagram. They are consuming content on platforms like LinkedIn. So if you are a professional and you want to get noticed, and in the modern world, there are a lot of different ways of even monetizing the content that you're creating. For example, if you are um, if you built a good brand on LinkedIn as a chartered accountant, who's not a founder but somebody who's working as an employee, etc., you can use that to get in front of podcasts, get sponsorships and whatnot. So just like a content creator is on any other platform, even if you're not a founder, uh, if you have a really good LinkedIn profile, and if you have really good hold on a specific subject, if you create content, you can get famous and you can get new job opportunities, career opportunities. So all of this, uh, and the reason I'm telling this is that because not everybody is a founder of a firm, right? So, or a partner of a firm. So it works for both, whether you're a founder or whether you are, and I'll give you examples, whether you're a founder or whether you are not a founder. It works for in both the situations, just that the way that you use it is different. As I've explained here. And the other important thing is that mostly in the when you talk about accounting firms, a lot of the accounting business, and I'm speaking more vis-a-vis the founders here, a lot of the accounting business is referral based or word of mouth based. And it's, I think, true for whether you are doing, I would say, uh, whether you are doing a very local work wherein you have your clients very locally within the city, small businesses, or if you're a little bigger firm and you work with bigger corporates, a lot of the work is still, word of mouth or referral based. So uh, what is the platform that you can use? What is the other platform that you have apart from potentially going to events and attending events and contacting people through your referral network? What is the other way that you have for you to get new business? And LinkedIn is a very, very strong platform, and I'll explain to you as well. And as we are on this topic, let me also show you two profiles. One is of our own co-founder of the firm that I have. Sorry, something happened. Yeah, just give me a second. I think for some reason. So this is a founder or a partner kind of profile. She's a partner in my firm, and we use her profile so to basically get leads or get new business. And because we are servicing US firms, so you can see that it's written, build offshore teams, because that's what we do. The US and Canadian firms, we help them build offshore teams. And so her profile is optimized, and we have the content that she's posting. For example, Trump has come up with a new tax regime which is coming up, so she's talking about that, and then she's also talking about different pain points and problems that accounting firms in the US are facing. So this is an example of a partner using LinkedIn to generate leads to get more business. So there are two ways in which we do it. One is, of course, content, and the second is, leads, which is reaching out to people. And like these are all accounting firms. So because our target audience is accounting firms, we talk to them. And these are all either firms that work in the accounting space or accounting firms who we are talking to sometimes even for hiring people. But uh, uh, let's say this is a really strong prospect. It's a in the US it's CPA. A CA is a CPA. This is one of the Donald Trump's businesses, which we got from LinkedIn. We work with them. So LinkedIn is such a strong platform. We got such a huge business opportunity on posting by posting content and reaching out to leads on LinkedIn. Now, how do we do that? I'll explain that to you later in the conversation, later in this presentation. But this is an example of a founder. Now let's look at uh, you know this guy. He is a chartered accountant. He is not a founder of a accounting firm, but he's a content creator, and uh, he's written multiple books about how to become a chartered accountant, and he is somebody who creates content consistently on LinkedIn. And you see, he's a LinkedIn top voice, meaning that he has more than 300,000 plus followers. He's a top voice, and he runs a very, very successful podcast, and he's built all of that from LinkedIn. So you can see his content. There is an enormous amount of engagement that he has, and he talks about his journey as a chartered accountant, where he was born, and personal stories, and his experience. So again, like uh, you know internship opportunities, collaboration with different other people, meeting really big people in his space, sharing his personal story. So he's doing all of this. He's creating content on LinkedIn, and that content has led him to become a top 100 digital creator with Forbes, very successful podcaster, and build a really really strong brand on LinkedIn. So again, as I explained in my slide, uh, you can use LinkedIn both ways, as a founder to get new leads, or if you are a if you are a professional who's not a chartered accountant or CA or a professional working in the accounting space who wants to create content, you can use LinkedIn as a platform to your advantage to get new opportunities, and use it as a pure content creation platform and create a lot of opportunities. You create your personal brand on LinkedIn. So this is about why it's important for chartered accountants uh, to use. Um, yeah. Now, one of the most important things on LinkedIn is to to when you're setting up, when you're starting with LinkedIn, is to first optimize your profile. And we'll talk about what optimizing your profile is, but once you optimize your profile, you generally start to create content on LinkedIn. And uh, what people do is that okay, how can I get think is like, how do I get viral, or how can I get more likes, how can I get more engagement. And generally people start to write about their services and their expertise directly on the platform, and that's how people are not able to gain any traction on the platform, because you need to understand how a platform works. uh, let's say you are an expert in GST audits, and let's say you are an expert for a specific type of industry, or in a specific state. And when um, and so when you know that really well, you go ahead and you optimize your profile. So you write that, okay, I help uh, small and medium businesses or SMBs in simplifying the GST tax compliance. And let's say that's how you write your LinkedIn profile, and then you start to talk about everything about GST, uh, talking about the pain points, which is valuable content, the general problems that people face with GST compliance. I'm just taking this as an example, and you can apply it to any other domain or any other service that you have. What are the what is the biggest problems that people face with compliance? uh, how businesses face penalties because of non-compliance, and you create a system, that okay, these are the problems which people face. I'm an expert in GST audits or GST tax compliance. In my experience, this is the set of problems that people face, and so my target audience is small medium businesses, let's say between um, you know uh, 1 CR to 100 CR in size, or 20, or 10 CR to 100 CR in size. And I want to, sorry, people are still coming in, and I want to help them with this service. And so, what are the problems that people in that revenue range face vis-a-vis GST compliance or during GST audit, etc. And you create content around that, and as part of your content plan, you set that type of content as part of your content plan. When you create a content plan, the other thing which you do is that you think about how you're going to get somebody interested about your content, and what is it that you are going to do next, so that you can initiate a conversation with them and convert them into a client. So we'll talk about how we are basically doing that later in the presentation, when we speak about how you can basically, once you've written content, valuable content, how do you take that and you convert people who are showing interest in your content. But very important is to know your target audience, uh, position yourself correctly, and then share really good content which is directly targeted towards the problems that they face. Again, think about who your audience is, what's their revenue size, who is the decision maker. Is it the CEO? Is it the CFO? That is your main person who you are writing this for, and accordingly, the problems and the priorities are different. A CEO has different objectives versus a CFO, like or versus a head of HR, for example. When you are in an audit, uh, these are all different stakeholders, and their problems that they face, even going through an audit, is different. So you need to think about who you are writing for, what are the personas, and what are the pain points that they face, and that's important. So that once you write these main that once you define that who is the audience and what is it that's important to them, you create a content system, which is, you say that, okay, these are my content pillars. I will write about, let's say, within the GST audit part, I'll write about pre-audit or audit, like vendor selection, or and then during the audit, I will club these topics in this, say, in the audit report and the compliance submission, whatever. So you create either a stage-wise content plan, or you create a problem-wise content plan. So you create pillars which are core areas, or a broad topic in which there are a lot of sub areas on which you can share content. So, and why do you create a content pillar is so that when you are writing content next month, you have a set of pillars around which you can brainstorm content and put it in your content plan for the next month. um, the part of funnel, I'll explain later what a funnel exactly means. But what it basically means is that when you're writing content, you should have an end game in mind. That is, when you share valuable content, how you are going to take the interest that is coming on that content to into something tangible, which is an actual client for your business. And so yeah, instead of looking at it when everybody when they started on LinkedIn, a lot of the people, they get influenced by seeing somebody on LinkedIn, and they say, okay, I do really good work, so my service is really good, let me talk about my service. But talking about your service will not get you clients, and going after likes and engagement and seeing that somebody else is getting a lot of views or likes and engagement is again not going to help you. As long as you are helping your target audience, you know the service that is a service that you can sell, is something that you are an expert at, you know your target audience, and you can create the content pillars, and you can create content consistently, you will get traction on your content, and you will be able uh, to build your brand, a personal brand on LinkedIn. The other thing which is important to know is that you need to build relationships with people. And when we say relationships, relationships not just not just uh, with your target audience, but also with people who service the same target audience. So meaning that, uh, let's say you do audit for construction firms, and there is a firm which has a, let's say, a tech product or an IT system which they implement in for construction firms. Or if there's an HR firm, or there's a, let's say, contractor, there's a firm which does contractual work. They provide contractors to that construction business, so they are a referral partner for you. So what you need to do is that, apart from building relationships with your target audience, you also need to build relationships with people who serve the same target audience. That relationship building can, of course, happen when you go to events, industry events, or when you go to when you attend those events and you meet them, or you can do that in the online space as well. And so that's very important. Now, moving on to the next topic, which is the 3 C's of LinkedIn marketing. So, uh, uh, not just your ideal customer profile, but your target audience, which is everybody working in that space. As I was telling you about, conversation is, as I explained, that what's your approach of talking to people, and how you are able to bring, then confidence is how you are able to build trust through your content, and have an end game in mind, that once somebody shows interest on my content, what am I going to do? How am I going to take them from interest to an actual client? How do I make somebody who just liked my content, and how do I talk to them? What should I say to them if I like my if they like my content, and how can I convert them into a client? So that confidence, the confidence and conversation, these two things go hand in hand. Once you create content consistently using the approach which I explained above, the confidence starts to come. When the confidence starts to come, people start to like and engage with your content. And when that starts to happen, you need to have the right conversation. You need to talk to them in a social selling approach, not salesy, but understanding where they are in their journey, or what are the problems they are facing, and then qualifying them, and then taking them to a conversation or a call. So, and I'll give you an example of this, or let me give you an example of this, like right when we are at Namrata's profile. Uh, Sorry, it's taking a bit of time. Just bear with me for a couple of seconds. Let me give you the example from this post. This post does not, because we posted about an hour ago, I think it will not have. But when I say, what do you say? So let's say, what she's saying here is that she's written, like, this is a infographic, but she's written a detailed post about the new tax bill that has come up, the draft bill, which US has come up with. And so she's asking people to comment so that she can share that lead magnet or ebook or whatever you may call it. Uh, and uh, she's asking the other call to action, or which she's giving, is like tagging somebody or reposting it. So reposting or tagging increases the reach of the content. So that's why she's doing this. This will help her get people who are interested in downloading it, and maybe they are good potential clients. So we use every content as an opportunity to basically, and again, if you look at who has liked it, mostly like right now, it's just the US is kind of, it's US morning. Um, a lot of chartered accountants, local people who are in the accounting space locally would have liked it. But if there was, let me show you some other example of a content post, uh, which will help you identify that, okay, who is the uh, let's see this one. Let's say this guy, Mike, right? He's a CPA, he's a US CPA. He can be a good partner for us because he's an influencer in the space. We can reach out to him to talk to him about doing a podcast with him. So again, because he's engaging with our content, firstly, as I said, her profile is optimized. She's written what she does, who she helps. We are sharing content based on the pain points that our target audience faces. So our target audience is US accounting and tax firms. So what she's saying is that how to build a tax firm that doesn't drain you during the tax season. So because tax season is a big problem, like uh, I think it's there everywhere, but I know like for a fact in the US that tax seasons are very, very hectic. So that's a pain point. That's a content pillar for us, which I spoke to you about in the post previously. So uh, let me show you some other example where, let's say, who's like this. Again, Mike is like this. This guy, he's a CPA. He's a target audience for us because we help US accounting and tax firms. He is a US accounting and tax firm owner. So when somebody likes our content, what again, this she's a target audience for us because she's in the US and she is a firm owner. So when somebody is liking our content, we identify that whether or not they are our target audience, and then we reach out to them on LinkedIn and connect with them and talk to them. And that is what the confidence and conversation part is what we are basically talking about. Now, on LinkedIn, who is your client? Who is the audience that you generally have on LinkedIn, right? So you will have people who are engaging with your content. Uh, you will have your ideal customer profile or the clients that you want. You will have people who are uh, event organizers. Do webinars which you can speak on, podcasts that you can speak on, and co-pilots are people who are servicing the same audience as I was saying. Let's say a construction business, you do an audit for the construction space, and there are HR firms, they are consultants, or they are contractors, or they are technology service providers, or tech platforms that serve the same audience. LinkedIn gives you the opportunity to basically use these two to reach out to them, and then use this to basically uh, make your content reach a wider audience. So when you are doing a podcast, let's say there's again, I'll take the example of construction. Let's say there's a podcast on construction. Um, Very famous podcast. Somebody does a podcast on the real estate industry or construction. Let's say you appear on the you find that person on LinkedIn. You reach out to him that, okay, I'm an expert in construction as a CFO or as a firm owner, and I want to talk on a podcast. So what you're doing is when you talk on the podcast, or when you do a webinar with him or whatever, you are reaching out to the big audience that he has. So you are basically leveraging that. And when you are talking to other people, finding and reaching out to other people who are servicing the same niche or same industry, you are creating a strong referral partner who can basically, um, who can give you leads. And you don't have just one source of referrals, you have other businesses who are servicing the same industry and you can get referrals from. And then this is something which who you are reaching out to with content, and this is something that you are engaging with so that your content has reach. So knowing the four kind of people is very important. The people that are LinkedIn, that are on LinkedIn. Apart from, so what we call as a DM is a direct message on LinkedIn. What a DM basically is, this is a direct message. Uh, again, this guy is inviting us uh, he's a CPA firm owner. Like he's a potential partner, but he's reaching out to us to attend his webinar, etc. So these are all DMs. The way to DM somebody is you go to their profile, and on the profile you'll have the option to send them a message. So you basically go ahead and send them a message from you. And so when you send somebody a message, it'll start to show on the right pane here. So you know so when you're talking to people, you can talk to people in the comments of other posts. Somebody has written content, you can go below the content and do a comment. Comments are very good ways to increase your visibility when you're building a personal brand. You can set up a service page on LinkedIn, you have the option to do that. um, you can once you start to write content, or even if you don't write content, if you have a website, there are ways in which you can identify who's coming on your website. And you can identify your website visitors, and if somebody is on LinkedIn, you can reach out to them. And again, anybody who you the other thing is, uh, uh, you can tag somebody who's done a press release on LinkedIn. You can basically do a social quote wherein you see someone else's content, and you use that content and you quote them in that. So again, these are different strategies which you can use to increase the reach of your content, and at the same time have genuine conversations with people, and identify and talk to the right kind of audience, or the target audience that you have. Um, I was speaking about setting up your profile in the right way. So again, um, like your profile needs to be set up like a landing page. Like you can consider that as a website, which can help somebody identify who you do, who you help, what do you help with, and what's your specialty. Is there any proof that you do good work, so reviews, etc. So, and I'll explain to you this as well. So your headline, like if you say founder at XX, it does not help, because because it doesn't tell the person who's reading, who's coming on your profile, understand what is it that you really do. So let's say, something like that. This is better. Tax and accounting services for real estate operators and investors. Then give visitors the next step. So below your profile, you will get an option to create a call to action or a link. So whatever next step you want the user to take, you should ask them for that. Let's say you can give them a tax planning checklist, wherein when they click on that, they get a tax strategy call. They can subscribe to a newsletter. Ensure that it's there in the about section, and in the banner and the featured section. And then you can list your services, and then also you can rate for you can create rating. I'll show you another profile that we have, which is a good example. This is Nidhi's profile. Now she is a marketer for US accounting firms, US and Canadian accounting firms. And if you look at her profile, uh, she's helping accountants become thought leaders. uh, it clearly says that, okay, she's a founder and CMO, but she's helping accountants build growth marketing systems and thought leadership personal brands that get consistent leads. And then this is a call to action, which goes to somebody to download an ebook on LinkedIn, and uh, basically, and using this, they subscribe to the newsletter that she has. So, and let me go back to the profile and also show you the services page that she has. Uh, yeah, if you look at the services page, you will see how optimized the services page is as well. On LinkedIn, you can create a services page about what you do. So, so she has, so these are the services that she provides. And then in terms of the work that she's done, this is all the work that she's done. And this is actual reviews from, US based accounting and tax firms. And using this services page, uh, she gets a she gets tons of leads every day. A lot of them are not relevant, because a lot of local other service providers, even, like, they just see what's the call to action and they click. But we do get appointments and leads from the services page as well, which she has. So this is a great example of how to set up your profile, wherein you have a good services page. You have your banner tells your expertise. You have a good, I would say, it went back a little bit more. And you can edit all of this. There are options available on your profile to edit this. uh, um, there are Canva templates which are available to create banners like this. You can, profile photo is very important. Your headline is very important. You need to have a call to action for the people who are visiting your profile to take them into the next step. As I was saying, what's the end game for you? You want leads. So for leads, your profile, your call to action, what do you do, who you help, all of that needs to be optimized. You need to have the services page, you need to have proof, uh, you need to have your about section, you need to post content consistently, etc. So um, yeah, let me go back to this thing that treating your profile like a landing page is very important. uh, what all content that what is the type of content that you need to share. So we spoke about content pillars. Content pillars are grouping of key topics that are relevant to your customers or industry that you service. uh, I have a couple of chats. I don't know if this is something that I need to look at. Yeah, all right, sorry. uh, so yeah, you can talk about questions. You can ask questions that lead to an interesting discussion. That i i I, for example, I noticed that there are GST, there are changes to the GST regime that are coming in this year's budget. What are your thoughts on what the changes could be? What are the speculations, right? So asking a question which leads to an interesting discussion, people start to comment, etc. Your niche expertise, again, niche expertise is, let's say you have an experience in construction. You talk about very specific things when vis-a-vis construction audits, or like the audits in that space, or tax in that space, or if you're a CFO, so CFO in that space. What are the problems that construction firm owners face in getting in construction business owners face in ensuring that their projects, their costs are allocated properly, etc. So showcasing your niche expertise is very important. Personal storytelling, because again, as I was telling you example of Kushal Lodha, you can see, you would have seen there's so many personal stories which he wrote. So very important to share personal stories so that there's a personal side coming in. Sales and promotional stuff embedded into stories, like writing about your experience and sharing a call to action which leads people to either book a call with you. A very example, a very good, and then a very important, and then case studies is sharing content around uh, the work that you have done. Let's say for this specific client, let's say for a construction, if you have helped some industry or some client in a big way, wherein they were facing, let's say, a big penalty, and you reduce that amount, or you help them resolve that, or they were facing big cash crunch and you were able to help their cash flow streamline. So whatever a case study is, again, that is a very important part of the content. And it overall, you need to spread your content as well in different ways so that it's relevant and important and interesting to people. Then we go to, as I was explaining to you, inbound led outbound, whereas anybody who is liking your comment, liking your post, commenting or viewing your profile, followed your recent, followed or following you, these are important signals for you to look at and reach out to them, connect with them, and ask them about what interested them in your content, or doing warm conversations with them. That, hey, I notice you saw a profile, what stood out, or I noticed that you commented on my post, I would love to discuss more about it. So building that relationship with people who are in your ideal customer profile, and noticing who the people, who are the people, and then reaching out to them and connecting with them is what gets you leads if you are posting content consistently on LinkedIn. uh, then yeah, then there is a very, this is a bit technical in nature, wherein how do you actually do this, like how do you take interest and you basically convert that interest into actual leads. This is the demand capture process, which of course we are not going to cover in a lot of detail in this uh, presentation. It basically is about, when somebody is visiting a LinkedIn or website, what is, there are two types of people: learners, people who are in the market but they're not buying, and hand raisers, people who are interested to buy a service. So what is it that you do with them? So we have, of course, a much more mature methodology in terms of how to do these things. So that's why it's a bit technical. This is something of an intellectual property which working with accountants we've developed ourselves. We primarily work with US and Canadian accountants, but I mean, broadly, the approach is going to be same irrespective of where you are from a geographical perspective. Then again, how do you take this information? You enrich the contact, like are they your ideal clients or are not the ideal clients? Are they really big accounts? They are big accounts. What do you do with them? How do you engage with them? How do you send connection request? If it's a really big account, a starred account, what is the process that you follow to talk to them? So we've qualified that process in a very, very detailed way. So it's a bit detailed. I'm not going to talk about it in detail. But yeah, broadly, this is how you basically optimize your LinkedIn profile. I'm happy to for anybody to talk. If you have doubts or questions, I'm happy to kind of talk to you about it and explain in more detail. But I thought I'll use 5 minutes for, for questions if there are any, and then I have one more small presentation which I wanted to show you guys, which is more on the training that we are doing for people who want to build a career in US accounting and tax. And I wanted to quickly for 2 minutes talk the audience through that. So I'm happy to take if there are any questions. I'll stop the share for a moment. By the way, I know all of you are from Bareilly. I'm not not all of you are from Bareilly, but at least some of you may be from Bareilly. I'm my hometown is in Bareilly as well. My hometown is Bareilly as well. Right now I'm in Bombay.
Sir, most of them are not from Bareilly itself.
Yeah. Sorry.
Most of them are from out of Bareilly.
Okay.
So if anybody is having any query, to please ask. Our speaker is here to ready to answer. One thing, sir, I wanted to ask is you somewhere mentioned ICP. So can you please explain again what is that ICP?
ICP is ideal customer profile.
Can you please elaborate on it?
Yeah. Ideal customer profile is somebody who is your ideal client. Like, let's say you service, let's say you have a CA practice, you would be working with different industries, but maybe there's one industry where you have a really strong expertise on. And maybe you work with retail stores, small retail stores, but let's say you also work with a big shopping mall, or you work with, let's say, an entertainment house. Whatever that ideal client is, who pays you on time, pays you well, big engagement, who is that person? So, and generally what happens is you have a lot of small clients and then you have a couple of big clients. So who are those big clients? Which industry are they from? And who is the client that you really like? And you want to really build your practice around that kind of clients in that industry. So that is something that is is called an ideal client profile. Is you identifying that from within your clients, who is your ideal client, and you build your ideal client profile. That my ideal client is, let's say, an entertainment house, and they have a revenue of 50 CR annually, and I want to get more of those clients. And there, the decision maker is the CEO and the CFO, and they need full accounting support, or they need help with tax compliance, and I want to reach out to more such clients. And so what we do is then we create a list of people on LinkedIn who are uh, you know uh, who are fitting that ideal client profile, 500, 1,000 people, and you connect with them on LinkedIn. You send them a connection request. So all of the media houses, let's say you have 500, 1,000 media houses, you send them a connection request and you position yourself as an expert for that ideal client profile. So identify who your ideal client is, position yourself as an expert for them, and then connect with them, talk to them, and convert them as new business.
Okay, thank you, sir.